All right. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us here on this surprisingly beautiful November morning here. Thursday, November 3rd, 2022. Thank you for joining us for our Lunch and Learn here today. Our topic is going to be the foster grandparenting program and the opportunities that are associated with it. My name is Sean Nurek, and I'm a research assistant with the Healthier Black Elders Center in Flint. I'd like to give a brief introduction of the Healthier Black Elders Center before we get started with our presentations. HBEC, the Healthier Black Elders Center, is funded by the National Institutes of Health, and it has been continuously funded for nearly 25 years now. Many years ago, the National Institutes of Health put out a call for action to increase the participation of minorities in research and the amount of minority scientists conducting research on minority populations. This created various centers across the country that focus on a particular population. Here in Michigan, it created the Michigan Center for Urban African American Aging Research, or what we call MICWAR. MICWAR is jointly run by Wayne State University, Michigan State University, and the University of Michigan. The Healthier Black Elders Center is the community core of MICWAR. I would like to show one of our videos that will help to introduce us further. But real quickly, as we see on the slide on the screen here today, here are some of the things that we offer. Our monthly lunch and learn seminars based on various health and health adjacent topics. That's today's event and other events that we do either both virtually and in person in Flint and Detroit. The group from Wayne State has a number of grad assistants and volunteers that help run the party line, which is a social hour, Zoom and phone call type option, just to allow for some connection with some of your peers. We may play games, we talk about movies, and just have other conversations that are important and timely. If you join us, you'll also receive a quarterly newsletter containing articles sharing vital and timely health information. And if you complete the survey and join our participant resource pool, you'll have the opportunity to participate in the types of social and behavioral research studies that are going on, and have the knowledge and understanding that you're going to be doing so in a way that is safe to you and that is ethical, both to you as a participant and for the researchers and for all those with whom the results of the study will be shared. If you're interested in joining, you can give a call to the main MICWAR office. Leave a message for Sarah there. The number to the office is 313-664-2616. All right, and now we'll show the video.
Did you know research studies bring about discoveries that can improve health and quality of life? And people of all backgrounds need to be included so that communities can trust and see themselves in the findings. Unfortunately, Black older adults in particular are not often invited to participate in research. We understand that people are mistrustful of research because of the abusive legacy of the Tuskegee study and the use of cells from Henrietta Lacks, among other examples. We're here to share with you that there are several safeguards in place to protect the health, safety, and privacy of participants, including older adults. All studies must be reviewed by a panel of experts at a university called an Institutional Review Board, or IRB. Then, studies that want to work with community members here in Flint can go through additional layers of review by non-medical community advisory boards to make sure they are moral, ethical, and confidential, that they obtain consent and provide clear information on the purpose of the study. Our Healthier Black Elders program in Flint and Detroit helps connect Black older adults with research studies approved by both the University Institutional Review and a community advisory board of Black older adults and aging agency leaders. Some of these approved studies provide compensation to participate. Each one differs, and researchers can tell you more about what their study offers when you sign up. We provide free programming on health and well-being hosted at local senior centers and online with tutorials on how to participate if you can't get there in person. A newsletter featuring community events and community member profiles, research studies and findings, and continuing health education.
Healthier Black Elders need you.
We connect you to research you can trust.
Research development needs you.
If you're interested in learning more about the Healthier Black Elders program in Flint or Detroit, you can visit us online at www.engageus.org.
All right. HBEC is a truly a wonderful program that aims to address and reduce health disparities through two ways, through research and through education. And that is what basically all of our staff, that's a passion of ours to try to create that equity through those routes. Again, we host various events that provide health-related education to the community with a focus on aging. We provide education on topics that range from diabetes and heart health to food safety, nutrition, creating healthier habits, brain health. If it again, it just is health related, or if it's just bordering on being health related, we try to provide the opportunity to have speakers with real expertise come in and provide some information that might be useful to you in your daily life, and it might be something you can act upon. So we'd like to again host these events in person. Our transition will again continue in the new year, so look forward to more in-person community events such as this. But in the meantime, the online format that we've been doing, we're not going to go away from it, because it's powerful to reach those who may not have transportation, may not have time, may not have the support system to be able to attend such events. So in doing this in this format, this gives us an opportunity to reach more people than we would have otherwise. So the online still exists, but trust me, we're going to be back in person soon. So again, a reminder, these events are recorded. You should have seen a notification when you joined here, and they will be available for watch and rewatch on our various HBEC websites. So again, to learn more about our program, please visit our website, www.mcquar.org. That's MCUAAAR.org, or call the office at 313-664-2616. Again, one more time, website, www.mcquar.org, or 313-664-2616 to leave a message for any of our staff. Before we get into the presentations here, I do want to make a few housekeeping announcements. Again, this webinar is being recorded. It'll be available to watch at a later date on our websites. For those that are joining by computer, if you have any questions for our speaker, please submit your questions in the Q&A box down below. You can do this at any time. We will try to save the questions for a Q&A section at the end. But if it's an urgent question, I have no problem. We'll stop our speaker and bring up anything that's very timely. For those joining by telephone, if you have a question that does not get answered by the end of our program today, please give us a call at the HBEC office and leave a message with your question, and we will reach out and we will make sure it gets answered, and we will make sure that you get that answer directly. So at this moment, I would like to just do a brief announcement and introduction of a number of studies that are going on, opportunities for you to participate in more research. For those who have joined us in the past, you may have seen the Electra study before. This is a study being run out of Wayne State. The goal is to identify the early symptoms of Alzheimer's disease and dementia, with a focus on Black communities. And how are they gonna focus on that? They're gonna do brain scans, electroencephalograms, which is just a measurement of your brain wave signals, and other computerized testing. So these tools are portable and tend to be much more affordable to be able to identify cases of Alzheimer's and dementia. And the goal and the hope is that this technology will lead to more Black Americans getting diagnosed and treated early on, when treatment is more likely to be effective. So if you're interested in any more about this study, our contact is Lorraine DeCerbo. And if you want to give a call to see about participating or to see if you're eligible, feel free to give her a jingle at 313-577-1692 or area code 313-577-7720. And this has been another study that we've highlighted in the past from the Michigan Alzheimer's Disease Research Center. There are numerous studies going on currently right now: medication trials, biomarker neuroimaging studies, memory training studies, lifestyle intervention studies, caregiving studies, and more. So if you're potentially interested in offering your experiences, your opinions, and sharing that with the researchers, our contact here is Kate Hansen, and she can help with getting you set up with the mindset registry here. Email is on the screen: katsch@med.umich.edu, or you can reach out on the phone, area code 734-936-8332. All right, a couple brief announcements real quick. On behalf of the Detroit Area Agency on Aging, we would like to thank them for their assistance in our Lunch and Learn on Medicare enrollment last week. They are looking for holiday volunteers, particularly for the Holiday Meals on Wheels program, and to help serve your fellow older adults in the community during this holiday. So there's opportunities for drivers, for meal prep, and support for the logistics of distributing meals. So if you are interested, applications are due actually quite soon. If you would like to assist with the Thanksgiving, during the Thanksgiving season, we need to get your application in actually by tomorrow, Friday, November 4th. If you're interested in volunteering for the Christmas season and the surrounding holidays, that application is due on December 2nd, 2022. If you can, on your screen, you could scan that QR code. That would get you right to their page to fill out their application. Otherwise, go ahead and log on to www.detroitseniorsolution.org, and then go ahead and click on the Ways to Support tab, and you should be able to navigate your way towards that application. All right, a repeat announcement, where as we just start November, we have to start thinking about December, right? So we are going to be hosting our second tailgate of the year. This time it'll be for the Detroit versus Jacksonville game on Sunday, December 4th. This will be held here up at Hasselbrink Senior Center, up here in Flint, 1002 West Home Avenue. If you are interested, again, please you can reach out to me directly. My name is Sean. Phone number is 810-221-1615. Otherwise, keep an eye out, and we will be sending out invitations to PRP members and other people associated with HBEC shortly. We'll start at 12:30, and we'll have lunch, we'll have light beverages, and we'll just enjoy a really good time together while supporting our local team through much more thin than thick. So, all righty. Now we are going to move on to our Critical Crossroads segment for today. And I think this is website www. As I play, this is actually going to be a rebroadcast of Mr. Henry Swift and his presentation on voting rights from our last Lunch and Learn. Normally, we don't try to reuse too much content here on these situations, but uh, we would be really avoiding the elephant in the room in life right now, in that election day is coming up this coming Tuesday. And this is a very important election. And our political system does have consequences for the outcomes of our health. And it truly does stand as being something very important. So please enjoy this brief little presentation that Mr. Swift put together for us last week. Thank you. Before the election. So, Mr. Swift, Henry, the floor is yours. Go ahead. You're gonna have to go ahead and unmute yourself, Henry. Oh. I'm still not hearing you, Henry. I sent a note. Go ahead, sir.
Okay, thank you much. Sorry about that. Hello, good morning, everyone. I'm going to begin my remarks with a reference to the Detroit Free Press October 20th article. It was entitled, "Voters Pessimistic About U.S. Democracy." And I'll repeat that. Voters pessimistic about U.S. democracy, which means to me, hope is diminishing in our democracy. This November the 8th, 2022, will virtually be a critical crossroads for America. Its citizens will choose by their votes to retain democracy or will relinquish it. For indeed, we are at war and democracy is at stake. November 8th will not be a normal midterm election because the foundations on which this country was formed is under severe siege, and democracy itself is the cost. This assault is not from external forces, but emanates from within our very borders. It is waged on several fronts. The first, a stolen election faction composed of elected leaders, and despite 60 judicial rulings that the 2020 election was indeed fair, they persist in this unsubstantiated claim. The second assault, a seditious attack upon our nation's capital to overturn a major component of our democracy, certification of the 2020 election by Congress. The third assault, new political office seekers with no civic or legislative experience are propelled forward by self-serving and the big lie platform. And the fourth assault is a U.S. Supreme Court abandoning laws of precedence for political expediencies. The fifth and most egregious attack is on two inalienable rights: the right for an individual, a woman, to make decisions about her own health, and the other, the right to vote. Ignoring the 15th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, 49 state legislatures have implemented laws that obstruct and restrict a segment of the U.S. electorate from voting. Now, amid the aftermath of COVID-19 and a faltering economy, combined with the foregoing frontal assaults, perhaps have engendered a lessening of confidence in the minds of people in its political institutions and democracy. But America's history has been a series of storms and stress, conflicts and setbacks. And it held firm and prevailed through the unwavering will of its citizens. And those victories were brought about by the people electing government representatives irrevocably committed to the people and the principles inherent in democracy. So here we are, approaching November the 8th, the most pivotal, monumental time in our nation's history, in which we must invest our future in men and women of integrity, committed to the Constitution and democracy, who will guide us through these difficult, tumultuous times. Always mindful that democracy is fragile and works only by the will of determined people. As Benjamin Franklin warned, democracy is a great republic. It's ours if we can keep it. Thank you.
All right, some very poignant words from Mr. Swift, our Detroit cab member. Again, a reminder to everybody, election day is this coming Tuesday. This is our opportunity to participate as Americans. So please go ahead and do your due diligence and help form the future of our country. All right, now we get to the main event here. So I would like to introduce today's presenter, Ms. Brooke Gow. Brooke has been a fierce advocate and educator for the needs and concerns of families, seniors, and individuals with disabilities. She's been employed at the Family Services Agency of Mid-Michigan since 2018, when she was brought on board as a program director of the Guardianship and Representative Program. During that time, she boosted caseworker to client interaction, increased payee clients served, and raised thousands in funding to better serve guardianship clients. Ms. Gow is now serving as the executive director of FSA. She has a Bachelor of Applied Arts Family Studies from Central Michigan University, and she also has a Master's of Public Administration from Central Michigan University. Under her leadership, FSA's in-home elder care services, guardian conservatorship, representative payee, senior companion, and foster grandparent programs have all flourished. Ms. Gow heavily involves herself in organizations, task force, and partnerships that enhance FSA's services. She's involved in the National Guardianship Association, the Alliance for Strong Families and Communities, the Michigan Guardianship Association, where she serves as a board member, and the Elder Abuse Alliance of Genesee County, where she serves as an elected vice president. And she's also promotes her staff to continue to join local, regional, and national organizations to really help serve seniors, families, and individuals with disabilities to help them succeed in their day-to-day lives. So, Brooke, I could see even within the introduction here that you are a perfect person to speak to our audience. So, welcome here. You should have screen sharing ability. If not, I can bring up your slides if you'd like.
Okay. No problem. Thanks, Sean, for introducing me.
All right. Thanks, Brooke. And everybody, welcome to Brooke. I really appreciate she was able to take the time to be here today, because it's a busy time of year for her over there.
Yeah, no problem. I know I'm heading out on maternity leave too here in about 2 weeks. So I'm just wrapping everything up and always excited to speak to students. So and hopefully I can share some information on one of our programs today. And students interested in learning more, they can always reach out to me after. I'm going to leave a little bit of time at the end for Q&As. But hopefully my presentation won't take too long, and I'll just go ahead and get started. So I'm going to start sharing my screen here.
All right, go ahead. Thank you, Brooke.
It says that you've disabled participants screen sharing. So
well, I just don't think that's a great idea here. So all right, here, go ahead.
Okay.
These security settings, you never know who busts into Zoom sometimes.
Right.
All right, go ahead. You should be all set here.
All right, awesome. Thank you. Oh, there we go. I don't use PowerPoint too often. All righty. Well, Good morning, everybody. Sean went ahead and introduced me. Never really know what to do in those intros, just kind of look around. But yep, my name is Brooke. I'm the Executive Director of Family Service Agency in Mid-Michigan. We have several programs here at Family Service Agency, some of which were named. We have a guardianship program for adults and seniors and individuals with disabilities and developmental disabilities, intellectual, you name it. If they need a guardian, we can offer that service totally free. We also have a representative payee program, which is a budgeting program for individuals who have disabilities that might struggle with financial literacy. We keep them housed, fed, clothed, you name it, and work with them on their budget that works. We have a mobile food pantry is something that we've recently added. So think like the little libraries that you see in your neighborhoods and down the street. We took that concept and we made it a food pantry. So we have one of those right outside our office here in Flint. We have a senior in-home care program, and then the other programs that I'll be talking about today, mainly foster grandparent program, but we also have a senior companion program. And that senior companion program is where we take seniors who are still active and living in their communities, and we put them into places like nursing homes, assisted living homes, and senior centers, just to kind of bridge that gap between seniors who might still be more social in the community with seniors who might have some disabilities or elements that restrict them from being active in their communities. So, but again, today I'm really going to focus on our foster grandparent program. I think it's one of the coolest programs that we can offer here. It's federally funded, and I'm just going to jump right into it. All right, so just a little bit of history about our foster grandparent program here at Family Service Agency. So the foster grandparent program was actually established in 1965. Again, it's a federal program. So we receive federal dollars mainly to fund and organize this program. We have federal guidelines we have to follow. And then the federal guidelines also put out exactly what the hourly stipends will be for the seniors offering the volunteer hours. So the program on a national level was started in 1965. Family Service Agency picked up the program in 1978. So we've had decades of experience offering this program, and we've matched hundreds of thousands of seniors in the community with children in the community. So some of our main funders are the National and Community Service Organization, Michigan Office of Services for the Aging, and the Michigan Department of Transportation. We also receive local contributions. We have an annual fundraiser where some of those funds get trickled back into this program. Yeah, so funding kind of comes from a whole bunch of different pots to make it work, but such is life in nonprofits. So most importantly though, what is a foster grandparent? So we all knew the importance of our grandparents' roles in the lives of maybe it's our own children, siblings, children in your lives. And really what this program did was it took a keen liking to the idea that our youth have a lot that they can learn from the seniors in our community. And unfortunately, not all of our youth have access to seniors in the community. And what's really cool about this program too is, you know, I know times are changing, but stereotypically, seniors in our community have more free time on their hands than any other individual at any other age in their life. They have the chance and the time to dedicate to youth, specifically troubled youth. So this program really looked at taking seniors in the community who are trying to find things to do with their time and match them up with youth in the community who would benefit from this type of relationship and partnership. And just to emphasize too, that last line, this is especially important for children who come from at-risk backgrounds or face physical or emotional challenges. So our foster grandparents and the program itself is designed to take seniors in the community who are willing and able to dedicate their time, and we line them up with youth in the community who struggle Behaviorally, they might have struggles because of disabilities, physical or emotional. They might be children in foster care. They might be children who were recently adopted or experienced intense trauma. So we really just try to bridge that gap and give kids a safe place, a safe person that they can go to, and keep the seniors active in their communities and stimulated as well. Alrighty, so to be a foster grandparent, you have to be over the age of 55. You have to have a limited or small income, which the majority of the seniors in our area do. So we have no shortage of seniors, volunteers. Most of our seniors are on a fixed Social Security income. So that stipend that they're able to receive for their volunteer hours actually goes a long way, and it can help them pretty significantly. It's tax exempt, and each senior is going to spend on average about 20 hours per week providing individual attention to children who, just to reiterate, they might have a developmental disability, chronic or terminal illness, survivors of abuse and neglect. They might be learning impaired, emotionally and physically incapacitated or at risk. So just some facts and figures from the foster grandparent programs that we collect every year, just to get a better idea of exactly what the benefits are for our foster grandparents. Of course, they're volunteering because they want to volunteer, but it's always good to have real tangible figures to present to our foster grandparents. So about 99% of foster grandparents say that their life has been better since they volunteered. 74% depend on the stipend that they receive to meet their basic needs. The average age of a volunteer in Genesee, Lapeer, and Shiawassee counties is 74 years old. And our volunteers, even though, and I'll talk about this in a later slide, the stipend is about $4 an hour that they receive. However, because of the number of volunteer hours that they're able to commit, they can actually average an annual income of almost $10,000 a year, which I'm so sorry. When you're on a fixed income, that extra $10,000 goes pretty far for them. And that says 2010. I apologize. That is actually 2020. We averaged almost 70,000 hours of service provided to children in the area. And 1,565 children received one-on-one attention from a foster grandparent last year through a family service agency in mid-Michigan. So not only does this benefit the seniors and the volunteers, but it also benefits the children, their overall well-being, their social, emotional, day-to-day living. This is something that a lot of these kids really look forward to. They become very, very bonded to their senior companions. Most stay in touch long after they've closed out the program due to age or no longer being eligible. Almost 100% of the students, we see an increase in their self-esteem. We see a huge increase in their attitudes about reading or school in general, their ability to read, their ability to problem solve, work with others. And we also see a huge increase in their social participation, not only within the program, but outside of the program as well. So again, just another list of some of the benefits that our foster grandparents are able to receive through the program. They have a tax exempt stipend. This fluctuates every year. Usually we do a cost of living increase of 3%. However, with inflation and the issues that we're seeing within capitalism right now, that increase is looking to be about 8% this coming year. So a lot of our seniors will be a lot closer to that $4 an hour figure. We provide their meals. We also provide annual physicals that we pay for to make sure that they are physically healthy enough to safely engage with the children. Uniforms, We do a 40-hour pre-service orientation. So every single foster grandparent volunteer will get 40 hours of training prior to actually going out into the field. We offer complete transportation reimbursement if the if the foster grandparent would like to drive themselves to their sites and to their volunteer hours. We pay the federal mileage reimbursement rate. If they are unable to drive, we'll pay for things like taxi services or local MTA Your Ride transportation. So our seniors never have to come out of pocket to even get to their sites. We also carry liability excess auto insurance. And, you know, all of these things are great perks, but overall, most important thing is that our seniors continuously feel needed and valued. We do a lot of staff picnics and volunteer appreciation picnics, dinners, luncheons. We try to take as best care of our foster grandparents as we can because they really are taking care of thousands of youth in our community who need it the most. So just some information too on our senior companion program. Oh, apologize. If anybody is interested in learning more about this program, or if you have a senior in your life that you'd like to refer, or a child in your life that you'd like to refer, this is the contact info at our office for the senior companion program. Our office is located at 1422 West Court Street in Flint. However, we do service Genesee County, Shiawassee County, and Lapeer County. So we can expand quite a bit outside of just good old Flint and Genesee County. We're only based here, but again, our seniors are on site and we're transporting them from their houses to the actual point of where their volunteer hours will be completed with the children. So you can contact Robin anytime if you have more questions. I'll also throw my info in the chats, but I blew right through that PowerPoint. I just wanted to open it up to some Q&A here. Please feel free to ask me anything. I think that the discussion is where people learn the most. So I'll just open it up to anybody who has questions.
Sure. We've been curating questions here throughout the presentations. Very shocking stat to see that 99% of the foster grandparents say that their life is better. They've improvement in their life. You don't see 99% much.
No, and you know, we it always feels so silly like throwing that stat out there, but we do questionnaires with our senior volunteers every year at the end of the year. So we keep pretty consistent data to ensure that not only do our volunteers feel very well taken care of, but you know, they're happy with the way that the program is being ran. And we very, very consistently have nearly 100% of our foster grandparent volunteers stating that yes, they are satisfied with the program, and many stay for 10 plus years. We just had somebody celebrate, I think, 25 years in the program.
Wow.
So it's definitely something that they come and they participate in and they stick with for a long time.
So we do have a few more questions, but something I wanted to throw in there. Brooke, we have a community advisory board. It consists of a number of very active or connected seniors, and this is one of the topics. The intergenerational relationships is something that RCAV has identified as something that is needed more in the community. So that was kind of the genesis for having this as a topic. And we really appreciate there. So but we're also going to open these questions up to the kind of the vast services that you provide. One question here in my Q&A is, could you just speak a little bit more about the mobile pantries?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the mobile pantry, it's in its infancy phase right now. This is something that I started at the beginning of the year this year. And essentially what it is, so a lot of people are very familiar, or they at least know and understand what those little mobile libraries are, like those little libraries. Essentially, they're just boxes out on posts in front of buildings. Sometimes my own neighborhood that I live in Swartz Creek has a couple in front of the homes. And the idea is that you give a book and you take a book. Now we understand that we are here in Flint and it's a food desert. There are no grocery stores within the city. And even those who are within reach of the grocery store, they might not be able to afford to purchase groceries for themselves. So something that our office has been doing or started this year was the mobile food pantry. And essentially what it does is it eliminates the application process of getting into a food bank. It's a completely anonymous, no questions asked food bank. We have storage inside that clients are able to come in and utilize if we don't have the items that they're looking for in the actual food pantry outside. But we receive donations from multiple sources all over the county at this time, mainly through a football league that's based here in Flint. Their players, as a part of their player eligibility, they have to bring a non-perishable to every game. So we receive thousands of food donations from the Elite Flag Football League, which I think is really cool. It's kind of the community. It's like full circle. But we keep this food pantry out in front of our office, which is located on the corner of Court and Miller, across from Powers High School or the Michigan School of the Deaf. We keep that stocked with non-perishables. And again, if people during our business hours, if there's something in the food pantry that, you know, they're looking for that we don't have outside at that time, they can come in and utilize the food pantry. And when we first started the food pantry, we were needing to restock it, I want to say like every 4 to 5 days or so. Now we're restocking it twice a day. So it's definitely getting a lot of use. And again, the most important part to that program is the anonymous aspect. People can walk up, no questions asked, take what they need and be on their way.
Excellent. All right. Another question that came in. Marvelyn asks, if we were to volunteer as a foster grandparents, how would the foster grandparents have any say about locations or areas that they may travel to go work with a little?
Yeah, absolutely. So our volunteers, of course, always have the right to request certain areas. Our locations are mainly schools, daycares, Whaley's Children's Center is a really big one. For those of you familiar with the Genesee County area, Whaley's is a residential housing unit for children in foster care who may no longer qualify to be in the general foster care home housing setting. They might have a disability or a behavioral diagnoses that they're working through, and they are unsafe for themselves or for others to live within the general public. So they live in housing within Whaley's, but we go into those types of settings and places. Depending on the age that you want to work with too, you can absolutely provide that input to the program director. Some of our seniors prefer to be in Head Start, so they really like working with the 5 and under, those little babies. We have a lady who specifically enjoys teaching children how to walk, so she gets to hang out in the infant room of the daycares that the Head Start programs that she volunteers in. And then we have some gentlemen who just really, really appreciate to be working with adolescents and young teens, and so he's somebody who would be going to Whaley's more frequently.
Okay. And that's actually ties in with another question then. So it does seem like there's a pretty broad age range of potential foster grandchildren. What is that age range if you were to put a number on those that would qualify like at this moment?
Yep. So as early as they can start in Head Start. So infants, babies, all the way up until 18 or 17 years old. Okay. Or excellent. They can't, some of our youth that we do partner with will carry, say they turn 18, like halfway through the school year, kind of treat it like a front of the court child custody, that the person is still a child until they're finished with high school. So it's infancy to graduation. Okay, excellent. Just a clarification, what would be the definition of being low income with regards to eligibility to be a foster grandparent? Yeah, absolutely. So the definition for us for low income would be a senior who meets the state of Michigan assistance criteria to receive assistance. So things like food assistance, Medicaid, if they have Social Security disability, if they're just on a fixed income in general, they would qualify for the program. Okay. Another question here. Can couples foster grandparent together
This would be maybe a husband and a wife. Would they be able to work with one or two particular children, or are they would they be site volunteers that get to work with a larger population?
So, that would be a really great question for the actual program director. I know that we have quite a few spouses. We have quite a few sibling sets who volunteer together. I don't know if they're always at the same site, but it wouldn't be a conflict of interest if that's something that they came to us and they really wanted to do together. Not the same thing as a married couple or a family too, but a lot of our volunteers who've been, within the program for years to decades, they might have friends within the program that have been volunteering for a really long time too, and we have no problem keeping them together.
Okay, excellent. Sharon asked another question here. She just wants a little bit more about the matching process of the grandparents to the potential grandchildren here. Do you do interviews? Do you do sit downs? Because you want to identify a situation where it's going to be fruitful for both parties.
Absolutely. So essentially what we do, the actual sites are really the ones who are lining the seniors up with the actual child that will be receiving the volunteer hours from our volunteers. But that 40-hour training that they all have to undergo prior to actually going out in the field as a foster grandparent is where we establish what age group and population they would prefer to be matched with the most. And then we find a site that matches their preferences as best we can, but it's up to that site to line that senior up with the specific child in need.
Okay. And then another question. It seems like there are all types of people in the world, certainly. But if you were to put together a profile of a successful foster grandparent, one of those who may have stuck with the program for 20 years, what do you see? What would that person look like?
The successful senior grandparent?
Yeah.
I think it would just ultimately be somebody who, I don't know, has been able to really just dedicate their time and their energy and their efforts to the program as a whole. We understand that, our volunteers are not going in to try to quote unquote fix anybody. They're really just there to help and support the youth. And, again, they're volunteers, and a lot of the children that we're going in and we're helping and we're servicing, there's a lot more external factors going on in their lives. And if we as an agency and as a program, and if our volunteers just as a volunteer can just make those children's lives a little bit easier for just a couple hours a week, then we call that a success. And we do get feedback from sites too. We do surveys out to the children, which is some of the data that you guys were seeing in my slide. We do surveys with the children and with the sites, and we get a lot of really positive feedback. It doesn't mean that these kids are, turning around or that's not a great word to describe it. It's, sometimes these children do continue to experience problems in their lives, and, they're kids, it's out of their control. But again, if we can just go in and make their lives a little bit better and a little bit more relaxed for a few hours a week, if that's something that they can look forward to, then the senior can look forward to that too. And we call that a success.
Good. All right. Another question, and I knew this one was going to be asked. We are these lesson learners, we have joint audiences in Flint and Detroit. I did a little bit of background research with regards to the foster grandparent program, maybe down in Detroit or Wayne County. And I know you say it's federally funded, so you might be able to speak to this, but it really seems somewhat spread out, disparate down there. It's like there's one agency that does a little bit of it, maybe another agency. Is there anything you can speak to a parallel program down in Wayne County? Do you have a counterpart that you could speak to potentially?
I'm really not familiar with other programs, especially outside of the Genesee, Lapeer, and Shiawassee County. We cover pretty much all of the foster grandparent sites and programs here in mid-Michigan. We haven't done too much collaboration with anything down in the Detroit metro area. So I apologize. I can't really speak to that too much.
Nope, no problem. What Marvelin asked this question here. We are going to do a little bit of background information and get back to you
Okay.
on that. We'd like to report back because we want to make sure that there's access for everybody who might be interested in this. Because
Yeah, absolutely. And I know too, just from like an administrative standpoint too, the program funding changes depending on who's in like our current federal administration. So the last couple of years we've been able to reestablish a lot of our funding, but the prior administration had cut the funding for these programs quite a bit. So our numbers have fluctuated a little bit, but as of right now, with the current administration that's in office at a federal level, there is a lot of funding for these programs, and they're really pushing these programs. So we've been encouraging, other local nonprofits at conferences and, any other meetups that we can, this money is here. They're just looking for organizations to execute the program. So.
Yeah. And this was a program I had actually, I had met the director of the program in Saginaw when I was in my other position, and it opened my mind because they're really looking at for marketing and looking for growth too. And I thought to myself, this is a perfect bridge to what our advisory board was speaking about, and an opportunity for an organization like FSA and similar organizations to be able to promote themselves. So Brooke, as you have future events or fundraisers or anything, please feel free to send that information over to us, and we can get that out to our senior population.
Yeah, absolutely. I would love
serve.
to. And I just can't emphasize enough how important the bridging the gap of generations is within this program. It's so much more than just putting a senior in the classroom with some youth to share some like old war stories. I mean, the children are teaching our seniors more than the seniors are teaching them half the time, it seems. I mean, our seniors really, really look forward to spending time with these kids. And I think that, it's a huge factor in keeping seniors, living independently and in their homes longer even. There's just a huge ripple effect to, pairing kids with seniors and seniors with kids. So.
All right, I think we're going to wrap up with this question. I think this is a good one. Do you have a data breakdown of your volunteers? Is it predominantly male volunteers, female volunteers?
Yep. So it's predominantly female volunteers. Okay. We have seen an increase in male volunteers over the last few years or so. I don't have that data with me on hand.
Okay.
I'd be able to I have to report it to the federal government for our grant annually. So that report will be coming up here in January. But typically it's probably about 90% women, 10% men. But we see that in social programs.
Sure.
Across the board. That disparity has been an ongoing issue. And I think, ultimately something that I know we really struggle with getting men to participate in the program is just with it being the older generation, there's not always like a whole lot of comfort with the kid engagement thing, because if you compare those statistics to our senior companion program, that's a much more, when you look at the demographics gender wise for our volunteers, when we're matching seniors with seniors in the community, we have way more male volunteers as opposed to when we're trying to match seniors with kids.
Okay, I get that. Thank you very much. Hey, men, for all our men out there, and anybody you may want to pass it around to, there's an opportunity. We are wanted, we are needed out in the community, and that's I think what's just absolutely beautiful about this program is that that opportunity to really help to firm the foundation, the building foundation of a youth. You may not completely turn lives around, but there can be market improvement. And it's just amazing, just that little bit of time and care and attention. That's amazing how that lathers like shampoo after a while. So
and absolutely. And I think too, something, not to get down my like rabbit hole soapbox of this program, but a lot of these services and the troubles that our youth are facing today, our seniors generation was not privy to a lot of that was going on when they were growing up. They didn't have access to social programs that we have now. They didn't have diagnoses that we have now, treatment plans that we have now. And so just going back to my point again, this is just as important for the education of the seniors and our volunteers as it is for our kids, because it really opens our seniors' eyes and hearts up to real issues that kids deal with and struggle with, diagnoses. It gives them a better understanding of mental health, of how to respect and help somebody who has a developmental or physical disability. There's just a whole lot of education going on both sides.
That's excellent. I think on that note, I think we're going to wrap it up here. We're at noon here. Brooke, thank you so much for your presentation. I hope this is an opportunity, and I hope this is an eye-opening opportunity for our audience, either here live or that will see this recording in the near future, for something fulfilling, something even more than a hobby. There's a mission, there's almost a calling to this, and we want to make sure, and that was our goal with Healthier Black Elders, Flint and Detroit, to bring some light on this program and the opportunities that are out there for us in our various communities. So, Brooke, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate that. You take care of yourself, and good luck towards the end of the month. I know it's not going to be time off.
Right.
But congratulations. We wish you and your family the best as it expands here.
Thank you so much. Yep, I'm happy to come back anytime.
Excellent. Thank you, Brooke. And everybody who's joined us today, thank you again for being here. This presentation has been recorded, and it will be uploaded to our lunch and learn pages on our website, YouTube based, so it's pretty easy to navigate. If there's anybody who's not a member of the HBEC program and is interested in joining, we can sign you up over the telephone. So feel free to give us a call at 313-664-2616. Again, when you become an HBEC member, you're going to receive our biannual newsletter, learn more about current and upcoming research studies, and get some information about future programs like the one we just held today. So thank you again, everybody. Please stay safe. And we've done a number of these in the past couple of weeks. We're taking a break. So happy holidays to everybody. And keep an eye out in your email or in your snail mail, depending on when we get it out, for announcements about our 2023 Lunch and Learn series. So happy holidays to all. Take care. Thank you for joining us today. Thanks, Brooke.
Thank you. Bye-bye.